The buyer called me and said, "Hey, I'm really nervous." I said, what are you nervous about? He said, "This is too good to be true." He said, "This has got to be a scam." He said, "Can I drive by the property?"
Hello, SlumDogg fans. We are here today with a very special guest, Trey from JP King, and he's here to talk to us about his wonderful company. They do a lot of high-end luxury auctions, and that's something that's extremely interesting and very unique. So we thought we would bring this to our listeners. So that's great. And we have Kyla, of course, with me as always.
Hello, everyone.
So one of the things that we love to talk about with guests are definitely the more interesting stories that occur in your business. So after you do go through a little bit of an explanation, would love to hear like either a silly story, a funny story, a horror story, any of those kind of stories. But before we begin, we'll just talk about your company, its background. It's really well established, and we're very excited to have you on.
Yeah, I'm excited just to learn about the auction process. I've been to home auctions and I've worked with buyers who have wanted to do auctions, but I've never actually done an auction deal.
Yep.
So I'm super excited to hear
How it
rolls out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm great. Well, I appreciate you having me on the podcast. We are very passionate about what we do. Auction is such a unique part of business, and in real estate, probably the least known portion of the business.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
So really, when you go to a real estate school or through all your CE, nothing is mentioned about auction whatsoever, and so it's an area that people are a little bit afraid of, maybe just because they don't know a lot about it. But it's super transparent process to go through from both the buyers and the sellers and the real estate agent, really, because as long as it's operated correctly, everything is super smooth, clear, and makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But it has to be used in the right aspect.
Right.
And so does your company mainly just do luxury, or they also do other auction, just straight auction?
So we have a sister company that does non-value properties. So we're able to service, regardless of the product, we're able to take care of you as well with that area. We just, with the JP King brand, it's been owned for luxury for so long, so many years, under 16 years now. We want to make sure that its branding's consistent, and we just want to do luxury pieces in that space, but we can also, with a sister company, very easily take care of and provide the same level of service.
And your company's been around for a very, very long time. Would you like to go through the history? Because I thought that was fascinating.
I was just about to say the same exact thing. Yeah, it is very fast.
Sure, absolutely. So fifth generation of auctioneers here. We've been at this since 1915. Started Tullahoma, Tennessee. Shortly moved to Gadsden, Alabama, where we've been ever since. And I'm the first non-blood lineage of ownership.
Oh, wow. So how did they pick you?
Yeah,
That seems like an honor.
right?
For sure, JP King III was like a mentor, a grandfather figure for me. He lived across the street.
Okay.
He'd get into aviation. He was a pilot.
Nice.
And so grew up really around the auction business and around the King family. And so when the fourth generation, he got ready to retire, it was a natural next step.
Awesome.
That's awesome. I mean, what a cool neighbor to have. I mean,
For sure.
yeah. And then,
Yeah.
go.
And I'm sure you get this question a lot, but do you do the auction voice? Like, do you do that? Everybody always, I'm sure they want to know.
Well, and you have that accent too, where it's like, I just know you would make a great.
And if actually, everything is going online almost now. So it's a point where
Right.
it is a process to keep that voice up and rhythm going. And so we hire the auctioneer in a lot lot of times if we ever do something live, because we want to make sure that if we don't want any hiccups. I'm not doing it every day. I want somebody to represent the company well, that's what they do every day.
The last auction that I went to, a lot of it, I mean, there was probably about 6 of us. I was there with a buyer, 6 of us in person, the rest was all online. And I will tell you, even for the people in the crowd, it was hard to keep up with because the people, the people online were just on and on and on it. Or they had a lot of people over the phone as well. So that auction part, they had several different assistants. So there was the auctioneer, and then he had his wife there. It was a family-ran business. And it was insane to see. I mean, they did a great job, and it was like, whoa.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So maybe walk us a little bit through like the step by step. So I have a seller, he has a luxury home, we bring it to you, and then what happens? Tell us about the magic.
Yes.
So the worst thing that can happen would be that he's not, or your seller is not ready for that process. We want to make sure that the property's ready. We want to make sure that the seller is in a point and time frame where they're ready. If they're extremely maybe price sensitive, like, hey, I'm not going to accept any less, that may not be the best seller. But one that values time over the exact penny, like, hey,
Right.
it's a rush process. It's a guaranteed time frame, and the seller is in control of every item. No cash as is where is, no contingencies. Selling in on this particular day, the only thing up for debate is a price.
Gotcha. And so you're saying it's a pretty fast process. Can you kind of give us an idea of the timeline for that?
We can go from start to finish in a 90-day window.
That's super fast.
It really is super fast.
Fast. I think this is very attractive for a lot of sellers for sure.
Definitely in this market.
Yeah.
It ensures that they've not given the property away. We would make sure that
Right.
a market is competing for the property.
Right. And so with that said, so is there any like upfront risk, or how does that work for them?
You know, there's all types of different styles of auctions. As you heard, there's an absolute auction that's selling regardless of price.
Mhm.
So while there's inherent risk with that it could sell regardless of price, it also attracts the most bidders and has a tendency to lead to the highest sell price.
That's a good point.
And so when you're advising a seller, are you telling them to price it, at a certain specific price point? Is it a percentage base? Like, how does that work?
Well, it's important to know if there's any debt on the property,
Correct. Yeah.
True.
because that ties our hands to an extent.
Yes.
And so that's really the number one question, to know if there's debt. If there's not debt, then the next question is this your primary asset that you own?
Gotcha.
So a lot of higher end sellers, it's not their primary asset. It's not their major source of net worth. And so it may be a little bit more of a lower value of their overall real estate portfolio. And they may have some more flexibility.
And so that makes them probably a better candidate for you because they're not really emotionally attached to the property. It's not, their grandfather's house or anything like that. It's just an asset that they need to move.
Well, yes and no. You've seen that that there may be some detachment, but it also may be a property that they built.
Right. Okay. Good point.
They put
Right.
items in there that they personally love,
Right.
whether that be technology or gold features or whatever the case may be, a buyer may not value.
Right. And so what about the contract for people who have never done an auction and they've thought about buying auction properties? Is the contract, like, once you do the auction, you find the buyer, they win the bid. Is it the same type of contract as a regular buy? So if they bought a house before that, they didn't go to auction, they just found one on the market. Is it that same contract? Does it do the same escrow, same inspection period type of situation? How does that work?
For the most part, it's a cash transaction with no contingency.
Yeah, but no, she's done it with no loan contingency. Okay, so there's not an inspection contingency in there either.
They would have a right to inspect, but it's a short period.
But it's a short period.
No,
Well,
they need to inspect before the auction takes place.
They have to do it before.
So they have
Okay.
significant time. Yeah, they really have a month to do all their inspections, any type of appraisals they would like to have done, experts, whatever they need done, plenty of time up front to be able to take all that into account before they place their bid.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, who doesn't want a cash deal?
Exactly.
Good, no,
Yeah,
good
no.
contingencies. It sounds too good to be true.
Really though, yeah. I mean, it's awesome. And just good information for people out there.
And that being said, so we were
It's
talking.
very efficient process.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
There's not a lot of risk up front for the person, correct? Because we were kind of starting to work through a deal where they were saying either like the engagement fee or the actual percentage of earnings for your company are actually done on the back end. So, you know, that person gets that full experience without having to really put any upfront money in most cases.
Yeah, it's correct. And the buyer as well really doesn't have any risk either. They have all the opportunity to do their inspections up front and whatever they need to do to make sure that they want to buy the property and make sure that it's, you know, at the end of the day, they're very informed.
Yeah. I mean, they know exactly what they're getting into because they've already.
And we do a really good job at hand holding them.
Oh, that's good.
We love that.
Yes.
And then how much when you're seeing this go down over and over again, what percentage of people do you feel are purchasing these houses sight unseen?
Probably 40 to 50%.
That's crazy.
I believe it.
I know. I believe it too, but that's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Therefore, even more of a burden on us to make sure that we have extremely good photography,
Right.
3D property tours, Mataports, everything, all the documents online, title. That way they know that everything is spotless, crystal clear on the property.
And so you being in the business, have you personally purchased a property on the auction site ever?
Absolutely.
Oh, interesting.
So before being involved in ownership at JP King, I've been a buyer, a seller, and a vendor for the auction process.
Oh, cool.
You're like all in one.
Yeah,
so you're that perfect.
Yeah, you're like, I have been through it all.
That's amazing. So that really leads us to our next normal question that we ask a lot of our guests on our show. So our tagline for our podcast is survive, thrive, and retire by 45 using real estate and property management as that vehicle. So if you were able to retire by 45 or whatever age you are, would you do it? And what would we see you doing if you did that?
You know, I really love the business. I'm a real estate developer at heart. I love investing. I love being involved in building. I really continue to be involved in that. And some point, even though retirement would be there, but also spend in a lot more time in my aviation passions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about that because that's super interesting.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a commercial pilot
Nice.
where I say I'm not for hire, but I really enjoy all the different types of aircraft and the different types of pilot's licenses and ratings, certificates, that sort of thing. So
Nice. So did you see recently in the Big Beautiful Bill about the purchasing of jets and how that's like so beneficial right now? I'm sure you did.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So are you going to be buying another jet?
No. I really like World War II era aircraft in Lakeland, Florida.
Oh, nice. That's pretty close to us.
Let's just say that.
Fun.
You can come pick us up in Sarasota and we'll do
Yeah.
like a.
We'll meet you at right off the Henderson. There's a little
Yeah,
airport
for sure.
there.
It's a hop down the road, right?
Right.
So I also heard a story the other day of another client. He was purchasing like a $10 million jet. And so they ended up signing the paperwork for it offshore in international waters. I forget if they were on a boat or in the plane just to save the pennies on the dollar, right? I think it's like 20 cents on the dollar that they saved. Have you done something like this?
No, I've not. Probably the craziest thing that we've done is we sold an aircraft via auction one time.
More
And
options.
I said, "Buyer, said, congratulations. How are you going to plan on getting there? Have you ever flown one before?" He said, "I had never flown this type of airplane before. I have no clue." And I said, "Well, please let me deliver it because I know that I can get it there safely." And then what's insurance?
Yeah.
I'm out of pictures.
Oh my
Well,
God.
I'm sure they took you up on that offer.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be like, yes, please.
Bring me my plane.
Yes, bring me my plane. I will take you home. I'll pay for your flight.
Yeah, when delivered it from Alabama almost to the Canadian border.
Oh, wow. That's a long flight. And then you just flew back on a commercial flight.
Yeah. They just bought you a plane ticket.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I have to hear, do you have any crazy, funny stories?
Either flight or auction.
Yeah, either one.
Either or both.
Any stories that have stuck with you?
Yeah, there's 1,000 different aviation funny stories. The auction process is, crazy things that have happened. We've had bidders that are under contract that pass away in a car wreck or something crazy.
Yeah.
So, like, well, have you ever had this? If we've been in business so long, we've had every crazy thing happen
Yeah.
imaginable almost. So we want to sign the contract, be closed tomorrow.
Wow. That's nuts.
My God.
And then another one of our favorite traditions on our podcast is to really shed some light on any kind of charity that's near and dear to your heart. So if you want to share a little bit about a charity that makes you all warm and fuzzy, we would love to hear about it. And then you get to have an ask for us that we'll try and fulfill. But don't get too no airplanes, nothing too crazy.
We cannot donate any airplanes.
Yeah, there's several different types of organizations specifically, but this one's located in the Atlanta area.
Okay.
And they facilitate private pilots, private airplane owners to be able to transport for free people that have got cancer or genetic orders or medical flights.
Yeah.
And so it's a way for them to be able to just have that pressure taken off of them that are having to travel long distance across the country for treatment or whatever the case may be.
And you've been able to do a couple of those?
We've flown for veterans, hurricane relief, and all kinds of different items like that for sure.
Nice. Well, we'll definitely need to talk about items for veterans after this. We have some other fulfillment that we need to do too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's great.
We've been in the Veterans Day parade and fly over the top of the parade for a military display of aircraft. And then we have actually flown veterans in or 2 airplanes for veterans.
Gosh, that is very
That's quite fun. Oh, that's awesome. And I don't feel like that's a charity that a lot of people even know about. When you first said it to me, I was like, I've heard of that, but
didn't know.
yeah, but didn't know exactly what it was about. So that's a really cool one.
And so what are the ways that you feel like we could help that organization?
A lot of it is letting both people that are in need of those services know that they're available.
Okay.
Pilots know that they can very easily donate or volunteer their time, and then just the public being able to donate to be able to keep that organization up and running. So you were able to, I was looking at it this morning actually, and we're able to go on there, just click accept this task that I'm transporting these passengers from this location to this location, and it's for this reason.
Oh, wow.
Well, now that we have some friends with planes, we should definitely get them a little more involved. If they don't know, we'll try and reach out to them and get them in the know about that for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, and so moving on. So we will definitely be working with your company. I'm going to do a test trial with the auction process here with one of our $2 million listings. Getting very excited to do that, see how it rolls out. And we'll do like a follow-up episode on how good that goes and how it all pans out. But I'm super excited. And we'll do a featured listing for that on our podcast just to give it a little light before you guys go to town on your auction process. So we're very excited about that as well.
Well, we're excited and be glad to come visit you in the next couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, we'll love to see you in Sarasota whenever you're here. You're more than welcome to hang out with us.
Oh, yeah, please.
All right. And then did you want to give like a little bit of bio about a little bit more about maybe yourself or more about the company? Anything else that you think you might have left out, or because they'll edit all in. So
yeah, so we have a fantastic team. It's really a group effort. We're able to take your listing or the seller's property and be a really hands-off experience. We handle everything from start to finish, make it very easy, a very white glove experience for the seller. And the listing agent really even as well.
Yeah, you have everything in house, which was really cool. I liked that, and I also like that I still get paid. So
Well, and I was gonna
can't be messy on that.
because I don't think a lot of people do realize that, where it's like,
Yeah.
even though you are a listing agent, they're like, oh, you don't want them to go to auction because then I'm not going to get paid, or same with the buyer's agent, but that's actually not the truth.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to mention here.
Yeah, shed some light on that as well. So
Okay. We need you, you need us, and the seller needs us to work together to be able to move the property as free and as efficient as possible.
Right.
absolutely. And so, about how many homes do you think that the company has sold in the past hundreds of years?
Can you even have enough?
If you don't know, it's okay.
Yeah.
But I'm just really curious, or maybe even like the last year or two.
We're into the billions of property value sold in billions of acres,
Wow.
all 50 states and 10 countries.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then you were
excited.
talking about that you really like to do development work. We have a big development that we're trying to roll out down here, so maybe you'll want to be a part of it. We'll take you to show you around on that one when you're here too as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we have
love new construction.
Yeah, we have a project. It's going to be 200 for rent apartments, and they do have a 25% affordability factor. So we get a lot of our impact fees off and things like that. So I can share all that with you to see if we're a good fit.
Great. Yeah.
I was thinking about the commission thing. I wanted it to be, but we talked about that
We did.
slightly. I wanted to make sure it was in here because even I would say like 3 years ago, I thought if properties went to auction, you didn't pay the real estate agent, but that's actually not the truth. And I learned that later. So I'm glad that we touched base on that.
Oh yeah, and then we do just need like one specific like scary or silly or crazy story, like or something that stands out in your mind of like an experience that you've had that makes the auction process super unique.
You hear all the horror stories, and I don't want to focus on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nothing too busy. Or like, for example, I think Daniel was telling us the other day how like this lady she bought this house sight unseen. It was like super unique. Like it was a Japanese style house. And like if anybody else, and it was only like a 3-bedroom, and he was just telling a little story, like a little anecdotal story about.
I've gotten one along the same lines. So
Perfect. Yeah.
Oh, good. See, we trick it.
I know. You never know. Yeah, I know.
so we had a property that sold, was the most expensive house in this particular county. Had not a single house had ever sold in this county below this price, above this price point. So,
Oh,
but the county was ecstatic. It was a fantastic, very modern, like 8,000 square foot, automated home. And the buyer called me and said, "Hey, I'm really nervous." I said, what are you nervous about? He said, "This is too good to be true." He said, "This has got to be a scam." He said, "Can I drive by the property and go say hey to the seller?" I said, yes, but you've gone through this entire process. You're working with us for weeks here. You know, what are you doing? He's like, "This is just amazing. It's just amazing." He really couldn't get over that he was able to buy such a fantastic property. He viewed it as a great deal. The seller said, "Hey, I sold it for way more than I paid for it or waited for." So everybody was so excited about the process.
aw.
And so I think that's what's great was you were able to make the dreams come true to achieve the purposes for the seller and the buyer.
And the buyer. Yeah, but
Yeah, I love so much about what your company is doing just because it does feel like a full circle win-win. You know, the seller is happy, they're getting a price that they want, you know, and the buyer is getting a deal, and this, you know, listing agent is still getting paid, and everybody's just at the end of the day just super duper happy about whatever they're receiving. So I think that what your company is doing is fantastic, and we're really looking forward to working with you.
I appreciate it. One more short story was, so there's an elderly gentleman that we sold his house, and his wife is in a memory care.
Oh.
And the only way for him to be able to move in with her in memory care facility was one that was out of state. And the home had to be sold. They didn't have the money to be able to go and move at the gate. And so we were like, bought the property in a really short amount of time, so the way they could move out of state and move back in with each other for, you know, the remainder of 3 years. So yeah, it's just a real sweet story.
I love stories like that. That really warms my heart. Yeah. Who doesn't want to be with their forever person?
Well, and you always hear all the bad
Mm.
all the bad drama stories when it comes to
Yeah, right.
relationships.
Or they couldn't sell that without them. You know, they would have been in a pickle and that would have been really sad. So, yeah, you guys must feel like heroes all the time, also.
Well, and in the luxury space, homes could be on the market for years.
Yeah, it's true.
And how much time did they have left together?
Yeah, it's really special. Well, that's awesome. Well, we really appreciate you coming on our show and giving us your time today. It was fantastic to find out more about your business, and we look forward to seeing you in Sarasota.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes, and thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
That's a wrap on another episode of SlumDogg Millionaires. If you're ready to turn dreams into dollars, smash that follow button and join us every week for more money moves and mindset magic. Don't forget to give back to your local community. Until next time, keep grinding, keep growing, and remember, your empire starts with one smart decision. Huge gratitude shout out to our production team at Icons of Real Estate.